Welcome Phil Straw to the front to give us his presentation tonight. Many of you will know Phil, and he's very well regarded in ornithological circles, and particularly with his knowledge of connections with regards to the migratory shorebirds on the Asian Australian flock.
I was asked to look at the little terns at Swansea Head where they do some dredging, and there's not a lot known about little terns in that part of the world because there's only very, very few. Occasionally, when they do the shorebird count, the lake, they'll see a few of them around. But I know I'll go a bit over this. First, I'm going to talk about another colony which I worked on, which is a similar sort of situation, and what we've learned from that we used in this situation. Because this is lessons learned to the Lake Macquarie operation, one of the smallest colonies, very few. But in 2020 I was asked to prepare an EIS for the EPBC Act, Migratory and Threatened Species, prior to the approval of dredging at Tuggerah Lake at the entrance in the Central Coast. The project needed to manage the protection of one of the largest little tern colonies in New South Wales. This colony had a history of disturbance and even vandalism. The colony generally protected by most of the beach nesting people, the bird life and everywhere else, they really struggle trying to keep people away from beach nesting birds. And often I was single strand of wire around and a couple of signs there, and trying to talk to people about, keeping the dog away from that, and sometimes get very nice reception, sometimes they get abused the hell out of them. Yeah. They doesn't really work all that way. So I think we need to do something a bit better than that. So from my experience modelling shorebirds and little terns at Tara Point in Botany Bay, the Ramsar side there, the entire coast of the bay, we've been monitoring there at the Tara Point Ramsar site for 40 years on a monthly basis. It's similar to what you guys are doing up here, but we did a lot earlier than that. Fortunately, the National Parks and Wildlife Service signage along the shores of Tara Point Nature Reserve warned of threatened pied oystercatchers nesting in the area. The signs warned that severe penalties for anyone disturbing and or damaging the eggs and nest of these endangered birds, with fines up to $20,000 or 6 months in prison. And I thought, this would be a good deterrent for people again. And so when I look on this job, I was lucky enough, this is down at the entrance again still, I was lucky enough working with Andrew Robinson and Nick Carson, who work for the Central Coast Council. And particularly Andrew was very keen on birds and everything else. When I suggested setting up the protectable little tern colony with something above the signage with a more protective fence, so use that signage, but we need something more substantial in the way of a fence. Andrew suggested using the same style fence he used for protecting bush stone curlews in areas where you've got dogs running around. So you need something up there to stop them from that. So he used up a very large mesh net. So after settling above, working at, so that's right. So we decided to go along there, but much longer fences than maybe a bush stone curlew. After settling on above, working out the transport route for transporting sand to the ocean without disturbing little terns was easy. In fact, being a construction site, it was a good way of keeping people out. Anyway, during the 2021 event, was there, it was one of the most important top performing nest sites in New South Wales, and had been the most successful breeding season on record for Coragie Point. And it had 17 breeding pairs and 153 chicks. But anyway, so I'm going to now.
So was that at the entrance?
Yes. And it's since then they've been doing the same thing. That's what I did back then. And every year they've had, it's one of the best producing little tern colonies in the country, but particularly in New South Wales. Okay, well, as far as Lake Macquarie is concerned, as a consultant aid in the wetlands ecologists, I was asked to provide advice for the management of the Little Tern, a very small colony, during the dredging operations of the Swansea Channel at the entrance. I also had to carry out a shorebird management plan during the lead up to the commencement of the dredging, that's covering all shorebirds as well as little terns. During the operations, the distance of dredges, the pipelines and everything else, the distance from the birds when they're nesting and everything else, had to be defined and closely monitored. And the other thing is I needed to really survey that area, because when I asked some of the guys who live around that area how many little terns they've seen and when they see them or whatever, there was very little information, because when you look at those birds over Lake Macquarie, little terns are very, very small, and people often don't see them, and it's very hard to monitor them. So we had to do that. So we did weekly surveys from Belmont to Swansea to look right through the area. I needed to find out where the birds could possibly nest somewhere else, see where they roost, and see how many there were and such like. So, right. And then from the time when the first scrape was found right until the birds left, we monitored these right through. I'll leave that there for a moment and go through anymore. Now, right, so I'll go back to that one. Okay, that's just the title page. Meg Rice was supposed to be running this tonight. She said it looks like unfortunately wasn't able to come. I always like to get my field assistants to do the presentation. I don't need introduction, they do. So anyway.
Bill?
Yes?
Go on the other side of the screen, please. That's right. Yeah. No, because we're recording it.
Oh, right.
You don't have to go that far away.
Oh, I see. Anyway, little terns doing an response. It's a migratory seabird species found in the northern and eastern coast of Australia between spring and summer. Protected under Commonwealth listed as migratory and marine species, and endangered in New South Wales. 3 subspecies in Australia. There's 2 populations in New South Wales. One is breeding, and the other is non-breeding. Now, it's a very interesting bird, because the non-breeding birds here are the birds that breed in the northern hemisphere. And our birds that breed there go there as non-breeding birds. So does anyone know how to tell the difference between one population and the other? Well, the ones that breed in here have got yellow bills. The non-breeding ones have black bills, because that's a non-breeding plumage, so it's this one. But we don't see it. So that's it. And just a little black tip means it's not a fairy tern, okay? You know the difference between a fairy tern and a little tern? Okay. So, this is a bit about breeding biology, nesting and breeding between October and early March, so we had to really monitor the whole period. Breeding occurred in both colonies and solitary birds. I was at the beach nesting conference just recently, and it's amazing. Some places there's so few that are breeding colonies. They lay 2-3 eggs, mottled brown colour, camouflage against the sand and the shells. They like to be amongst the shells and not like this, because it's very hard to see the eggs. And that's why I always tell people if they're looking for them, well, don't, because if you give a treadmill before you find them. So that's the eggs there. 21 days incubation period. Roughly 18 days until fledging after the hatching. Now, the only place they're nesting on is an island. This is the channel, Swansea Channel, and this is Elizabeth Island. And they've been putting dredge sport on here, they've got to put it somewhere, and been piling it up here, and then they started putting it in this area here. And I went there and I looked at this area, and I said, well, this is ideal, because it's like substrate and everything else. So let's call this the nesting area. And then the little tern came down and makes its first nest scrape. I thought, well, we started already. So, what they did here, this is a 6-foot site on the west slopes of Elizabeth Island. This is records from the past. You see, up to 60 birds have been recorded in the lake in Macquarie since 2009. 6-foot site on the western slopes of Elizabeth Island 2022, that's all. In 2010, unsuccessful breeding event reported at the Spoil, which is over here, island. And 221, confirmed breeding event. 2 steps of fledglings at the southern point of Elizabeth Island. That's according to the observations from local birders in the area. So you see, it's not much of a colony, is it? Okay. And 4 pairs at Swansea, site near Fellingham Point in 950-60. And that was Alan Morris. Alan Morris used to be the saviour of all these birds many years ago. He used to work Parks of Wildlife, and he was the one that did Karaji Point, protecting that with a single strand of fence and everything else. And okay, this is a better, more picture there. There's Elizabeth Island, and the Sandspoil Island is that one there. That's what they said to use occasionally. But there you get so many people, especially going in here, swimming and everything else. It'd be harder to protect this area than here. But as it is, people camp on the island. We've got dogs on there and everything else. And to protect them from that, that's why we use the same fence as we did down in the entrance. So, you see there, the sand is coming in all the time and always filling up. So it almost like every year they're doing dredging. There's other places they only have to do it every so many years. Okay. Right. Well, this one's just incubating. One of the first ones there. And as I say, we found a substrate. They love grub spoil. If you want to make unless it's something little terms, you just put a big pile of bread spoil in a lake and they'll be there. One of the easiest birds to manage from that perspective. And this is the fence and the sign. And we didn't have any problems after that.
This has got what the penalties are?
$330,000
or 2 years in prison.
Yes. So I thought that would work. Actually, go back and see stuff here. It's just, I think there's a bit of overkill in it. That's another it's overkill when you don't do these things to people.
Yeah.
That's true.
So this is one first, because the Department Transport for New South Wales are the ones to do the dredging. They're the ones that put the fence up. They had this sign made up and put it on. And this is, you see the fence around the area there. It's pretty steep around the outside edge. And that's the site.
Oh, yeah.
That's the fence around it. That's an old dredge pipe which is left there. And so that area was the colony. So, when I first got there, I saw the first chicks, and I didn't have anything. I looked for something, a broken pipe or something to put down so they could shelter it. And I found this, like a big coffee cup type thing, I put it in there. Because they're always looking for somewhere to shelter the chicks and So I made up some of these things. I went to Bunnings and got some weatherboard, a bit of wood there, and made some of these up. And we put them on around. And actually one bird, when we do that, and it's made a nest right next to it. There's 2 chicks and one there. So that's shelter for the chicks is very, very important. Down at Karaji Point at the entrance, there's lots of tufts of vegetation, and that's perfect for them. But here, there's nothing because it's just wall. So we had to make some structures, and they all work very well. And this is Meg. I need some other good thing to make that move, but she's a lot more agile than I getting up these sand hills. So she would be able to jump over the fence and everything else. She was really, really keen. She worked for a consultant for them. She said, "Phil, they would like to come on and learn something about shorebirds. Can't you come on with you?" I said, "Yeah." That was great. So there's a thing with 2 legs in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it goes. Yeah, it was just plain.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So let's go back twice maybe, and then go back again. And no,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, go back and then back again. Try going back again. So and then try going forward again, and then forward again.
Once.
So play once more. Yeah, there we go. Oh, no, yeah. So forward again. Yeah, leave it. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. No. Oh, is that the pipe from the dredging?
You can see the adult shadows going over it. Yeah. Put them all down. You can hear them. Go back to the cup. Right. Right. Yeah, and the adults really need to flood shelter and everything else, and they would nest next to some of these things. I think that's about it. Oh, that's one wrong way, sorry.
There we go.
Okay, so it's just have 2 or 3 eggs, and we have quite a few 3 cups, so that's just, and anyway, round the whole, there's survey we were doing, there's 324 sightings of little terns. That's, there's a number of songs that we went to saw the birds cumulative count between November 23 and February 24. Maximum of 54 little terns recorded at any given time, so we know at least there's 50 odd birds in the area. 8 pairs of little terns recorded at the nesting site during the monitoring period. 18 eggs were laid across the 8 nests. 12 kids fledged from the island. So for a very small colony. Now the thing is, if we keep managing this, these birds come back and the youngs come back to the same natal colony, and we could build it up again. But I'm going to have to do some work with the guys there about lowering the island in one area, making it much bigger, and keep it protected there, and we could build the colony up again, I think. Well, again, it's never been very big. So, and that's fledged birds. They go down the side of that thing, all the way down the bottom, because what they do when the adults are feeding them, they always like to go to the edge where the adults come back from foraging. And so these ones are just able to fly now. And that's what we've got there. So we did pretty well for that small colony, and we can still work that way. Now, there's one of the problems is, and there's engagement of different government agencies. Now, council can't do anything on that because it's Crown land. You've got Crown land, no one can do anything with it, and there's a special case which you might manage on behalf of Crown land. So we had Crown land involved and discussing things with us. The Department of Environment, 2 people, transport from New South Wales to work for the colony, but we also had the dredge operators now who stick us across one of the boats to the island, and they would maintain the edge where the sand falls away from the fence of the side and make sure we kept all that together. So we had really good teamwork with different government agencies all working together. That's part of Wildlife Service, and we're all working together on that project. So that's a bit of a success story. A lot of work, they get a few chicks. But we can, if we've got the material, and the government agencies working together, so including all of those agencies which normally don't communicate and cooperate. So that was just that one there, so we could perhaps do next year we do more of it again, but it's a bit of a battle. All that sort of stuff. Anyway, I thought that